Why does everyone talk about this book? Huh? Why does everyone talk about this book? Is it really that great? Is it that special? There's no way. The big three of seinen. The greatest of all time. The GOAT. The best art of any manga. Is it worth the praise? Is it really that good as people say? Yes, it is. This is Vagabond. This is my review on Vagabond. Let's start with chapter 1 with our main man, Takezo. And yes, this is Miyamoto Musashi for people who haven't read it. Takezo starts as this young man who's feisty, he's violent. You know, he wants to become stronger, and he's proving that by killing people. Some people reading might not even like him right now because it's just how much of a jerk he is, I guess. But that is what makes Vagabond so good. Not because he was a bad guy, but because of his journey.
You see, what makes Musashi a special character is not from the fights or whatever he has on his journey, but it's what he learns from those fights on his journey. And the strength he gets makes him want to be kinder. Throughout the story, Musashi is always trying to find himself. The monk helps him a few times to realize a few things, like in the beginning of the story when he lets him go, stuff like that. I don't want to spoil too much, but he realizes lots of things, how insignificant he is in the world, and he realizes that makes him free. And although this might sound very confusing, because how does the fights make him kinder? That doesn't make any sense. How does he learn things from these fights? It's because he realizes the strength he has, the invincibility that he wants. Invincible is merely a word. It is nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's just a word. And it's honestly really hard to describe for me how this makes sense, and it's something that you just have to figure out by reading. But should you read Vagabond?
Here's the thing. Despite what you hear on the internet, a lot of people call Vagabond boring. Maybe they think the fights are too dragged out. Maybe they think there's not enough action. The fights need to be more bloody, it needs to be more serious. But that's not the point of Vagabond. The point is not from the fights. It's really not. It's what he learns from the fights. Like I said earlier. Let's take, for example, the farming arc. Musashi literally just stops by this village to go help these people, and people call this boring. It is not boring, you just don't understand character development. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say that better to you. But if you truly believe this is boring, if this is insignificant, no, you should not read Vagabond. You should read Vagabond if you're in for the journey, in for the psychological questions, problems. If you're reading Vagabond just for the action, go ahead and close the book now. The philosophical questions and problems that Musashi faces and breaks through ultimately is the heart of the story, and it should be your whole reason for even reading it. Musashi finding himself is why you should read Vagabond. And if you're not interested in that, then don't read it. It's simply not for you, and that's not a bad thing, but that story is simply not for you. Vagabond is a philosophical manga. It challenges a lot of beliefs in a way. Like, being strong is not categorized by how many people you've killed, how many people you've beaten. Being strong is about how kind you are, what you've learned. But if that doesn't make sense to you, I believe Vagabond isn't for you, truly.
As some of you may know, Vagabond has been in a hiatus since May 2015. I guess you Hunter x Hunter and Berserk fans know this feeling very well, but there hasn't been new content for Vagabond for a very long time. And if you're coming to read Vagabond, this is something you'll have to keep in mind. The story isn't finished. It's beautiful and it's something worth experiencing, but if you're the type of person to not, be satisfied with a real conclusion, then maybe wait a few more years or something like that until Inoue is ready to come back. But why did he put this series on hiatus? Well, simply put, he couldn't live up to these expectations of being the perfect manga or whatever people were saying about his book, and I understand that he was burned out. This it's a very emotional manga, and it's a very beautiful one. And to live up to these expectations that people are saying, it's hard. And he decided he wanted to go in a different direction for a little bit, or for how long he wants to do it. He's a basketball coach, which makes sense since he loves basketball. He's made 2 manga about it. Also read Real, it's amazing, and Slam Dunk. But it will take some time for him to come back. And I want him to come back. I mean, a lot of us do, but it feels like it's gonna take a while, and we're gonna have to accept that. Alright, for the moment of truth, what is my score? Obviously 10 out of 10 Miyamoto Musashis. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be making better, longer videos in the future. I'm so sorry. Goodbye.